North of 49, a guide to the rest of your life. Welcome to North of 49. This week on the show, we meet a sports broadcasting legend who's up against one of life's toughest opponents. Paul Carson has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And while it may be one of the deadliest forms of the disease, he's determined to come out on top. His game plan includes a strong defense made up of positive thinking and a holistic approach to beating the disease. The diagnosis also has Paul spreading the word about a type of insurance policy he thinks all North of 49ers should invest in. We'll also hear from a Vancouver-based insurance expert, a dentist with the inside scoop on the role our teeth play in our well-being, and a doctor who believes the mind, body, and spirit are pivotal in health and healing. Sports have always played a major role in Paul Carson's life.
Played minor hockey, junior football, high school football. Had a fairly athletic family, and so that was my life.
But Paul knew he didn't quite have the killer instinct to make it to the Hockey Hall of Fame, so he decided to pursue another career.
And then I got involved in broadcasting at a young age, and I felt my position in life was going to be better served calling sports and covering sports as a journalist or as a broadcaster.
At 21, Paul got his first professional sportscasting gig at CKEK, a small-town radio station in the shadow of the Rockies. About 10 years later, he moved to Vancouver and joined the team at CKVU, the home of Sports Page. That's when Paul Carson became a household name.
It was constantly a situation where people were, coming up to you to shake your hand, pat you on the back, ask for your autograph, get your photo taken. In the beginning, I didn't know what to think. I said, what's going on here? All we're doing is we're just doing a sports show here. But Vancouver sports fans are very passionate about their teams and their sports, and I guess they felt we represented them well.
After 2 decades with Sports Page, Paul decided to branch out on his own.
So I was 49, and I thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm still healthy. I'm still young. I still got lots to contribute. I know the market well. Where can I use my skills? How can I use my skills? And I thought, well, you know what? This market is ready for sports radio.
His critics and his friends all told him it couldn't be done, but Paul didn't give up. A year and a half later, that persistence paid off. He struck a deal with the Chum Radio Group, and on May 5th, 2001, the Team 1040, Vancouver's first all-sports radio station, hit the airwaves.
It was a wild ride for a year or two. I went through a lot of on-air people, but it stabilized after a couple of years, and now sports radio in Vancouver is well established and here to stay.
It was at 1040 that Paul voiced commercials promoting critical illness insurance, a product he would eventually buy.
If I couldn't work and I couldn't replace that income, this critical illness insurance could be a very valuable, asset for the family. So we signed up, we did it, and basically that was it. I didn't really give it any more thought until February 1st, 2010.
That's the day doctors told Paul he had pancreatic cancer and that he only had 90 days to live.
When you're told it, you've got it, man, there's no doubt you've got it, then you go, holy man, what next?
For Paul, the next step was changing his state of mind, forgetting the negative and focusing on the positive. He embraced a holistic approach to healing.
When I was putting my medical team together, I knew I would need some people who think out of the box as part of the team. And so my business partner recommended I go see a doctor. I won't mention his name, but he's a Vancouver doctor who specializes in immune building and helping organs get healthy again while they're dealing with chemo.
Chemo attacks the body in a number of unpleasant ways. For Paul, one unexpected effect was in his mouth. Worse yet, his dentist couldn't see him until chemo was over.
My dentist said, well, I can't have you in, I can't look at you, I can't treat you for anything, you're on chemo. He says, you're on blood thinners, I I can't even clean your teeth right now.
Here's Paul 6 full months after he was told he was going to die. He's emceeing a bike ride to raise money for pancreatic cancer research.
We have one person here that we know is a pancreatic survivor of cancer, and that is Paul Carson.
First time anybody's told me I'm a pancreatic cancer survivor, I'm a little choked.
Paul attributes his success to a combination of factors. First and foremost, the medical team with whom he's working. And he's taken up yoga, been hitting the links, and changed the way he eats. Paul is also taking a wide range of vitamins. And there is, of course, his attitude.
I want to keep positive. I've got a good direction I'm heading in, and I'm going to ride it out. So that's kind of how I dealt with it. I didn't sleep very well the first night. I've slept like a baby ever since because I think I had a good game plan in place, and it's obviously working, and I'm making great progress, and I feel that I'm going to be a healthy guy in the next couple of months.
Now that golf season is winding down, Paul is headed for surgery.
I'm going to be having an operation, and they're going to take the tumor out, and hopefully I'll be away to the races.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Jack Shaffer of ZLC Financial Group. Welcome, Jack.
Hi, Michelle.
Jack, in the story we had about Paul Carson, he talked about a special kind of insurance that really was helpful to him. What exactly is critical illness insurance?
Well, Michelle, critical illness insurance is a policy of insurance that pays a lump sum tax-free benefit 30 days after diagnosis of one of up to 25 life-threatening illnesses and 30 days after surviving a heart attack or a stroke.
It sounds like it's fairly comprehensive, but what kind of illnesses are we talking about?
Well, certainly what we call the big four: heart attack, cancer, stroke, coronary artery bypass surgery, those are covered. In addition to that, other ailments include benign brain tumor, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, kidney failure, and in addition to that, severe burns, coma, loss of speech, and deafness are covered.
So what are the odds of someone incurring one of these critical illnesses?
Well, the odds are quite staggering, actually. For men, the odds of developing heart disease during their lifetime is 1 in 2. For women, it's 1 in 3. For cancer, for men, it's 1 in 2.3. For women, 1 in 2.6. And consider the fact that 40 to 50,000 Canadians suffer a stroke each year. But you know, you don't even have to look at the statistics. Just think of your own circle of friends, family, acquaintances, and how many of those people have been diagnosed with cancer, had a heart attack or a stroke, or been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. Most of us have been touched directly or indirectly by a critical illness.
Yes, so one of these things happens to you. You say the policy pays out after 30 days. What's the likelihood of someone surviving this up to the 30-day point?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Medical science has made some great advancements over the years. For those people who suffer a heart attack and get to the hospital, 80% survive. For strokes, 85% of people survive the initial stroke. And in cancer, for those people over the age of 30, there's a 62% chance of that person living 5 years or more.
So if the odds are in fact pretty good for someone dealing with a critical illness, then the insurance policy's got to be pretty expensive.
Well, there's no doubt the cost of a critical illness insurance is higher than term life insurance, for example. And quite frankly, the reason for that is the odds of paying off are a lot better than a life insurance policy. But there are different terms and types of insurance, and even though they can be purchased up to an amount of $2 million, most of the policies we see are issued for amounts of between $100,000 and $500,000, and there's variable terms available so that the cost is manageable.
Is it possible to give an example of cost, or it's so individual for each case?
Well, it's individual for each age group. For an individual who is maybe 40, the cost of $100,000 of a 10-year term critical illness policy is probably going to run around $50 a month.
How hard is it to qualify for this insurance?
Well, it definitely is more difficult to qualify for life insurance. They take family consideration into account, so they're looking at any genetic diseases or inheritable diseases, and but the procedures to qualify for it are pretty much the same. Now, for those people that have already suffered a critical illness, although they may be able to get life insurance, they wouldn't be eligible for critical illness coverage. But the only way you can really determine your eligibility is to apply for the coverage.
Okay, so in considering applying it, when you're looking at an overall financial plan, as you're moving north of 49, what role would critical illness insurance play in the big picture of what one is thinking about?
Well, if you take a look at the wealth that most Canadians have created, the majority of them, that wealth is represented by the registered savings plans and the equity in their home. So if an individual has to dip into their retirement savings plans and take that money out and pay tax on it, or take a mortgage on their home, that's a great stress on that individual who's also trying to recover at the same time. And Paul alluded to this in the video, that the fact that he had less stress because of the financial payment of the critical illness insurance aided in his recovery. So for many individuals in their financial planning, this is risk management to guarantee that the retirement funds remain intact if they have or their loved ones have a critical illness.
Okay, thank you, Jack Shaffer. Good information.
Thanks, Michelle.
Keep only cheerful friends. The grouches pull you down.